In the gilded conference halls of Djibouti and Addis Ababa, where the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, convenes, there is a conspicuous absence. The seat reserved for the state of Eritrea sits empty. It is silent amidst the diplomatic bustle. To the visiting Western diplomats and the mainstream press, this empty chair is a symbol of intransigence. It is the mark of the Hermit Kingdom, the spoiler of the Horn, a nation that refuses to play by the rules of international diplomacy. But if you leave the conference halls and dig into the archives, past the press releases and into the classified cables, a different story begins to take shape. The empty chair isn't a sign of isolation. It is the most deafening protest in modern African diplomacy. It is the act of a whistleblower who realized long before anyone else that the game was rigged. To understand the silence of Asmara, you have to understand the noise of New York City in December 2009. On December 23rd, the UN Security Council adopted Resolution 1907, imposing crippling economic sanctions on Eritrea. Susan E. Rice, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, stood before a phalanx of reporters and delivered a masterclass in diplomatic theater. She declared the sanctions an African initiative requested by the African Union itself, but it was a lie. Buried in the WikiLeaks archives are cables from 7 months prior, detailing a private meeting between Rice and Ethiopian Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. Zenawi told Rice that the only way to shatter President Isaias Afwerki's calculations was to cut off the diaspora's money. Rice didn't ask for evidence, she asked how to make it saleable. The answer: use IGAD. For Eritrea, this was the moment the mask slipped. IGAD had become a laundromat for foreign policy. Eritrea's disillusionment goes deeper. In 2007, Eritrea suspended its IGAD membership after Ethiopia's invasion of Somalia. Backed by the US, Eritrea warned it would lead to radicalization. 17 years later, with Al-Shabaab still active, the warning looks like prophecy. President Isaias Afwerki describes a strategy designed to fracture African nations. An approach where Somalia is separate, scattered like checker pieces, is not viable, he said. To him, IGAD had become the board on which these pieces were moved by external hands. In 2016, a confidential draft accused Eritrea of arming rebels. Compiled by Sahan Research, it looked like independent research, but it was a racket. Ethiopia provided accusations, Sahan Research provided the paperwork, and IGAD provided the stamp of approval. Fast forward to late 2023. Eritrea rejoined IGAD, hoping for regional integration. But the honeymoon was short-lived. Civil war erupted in Sudan. IGAD invited the RSF militia to the table as equals. Simultaneously, rhetoric regarding the Red Sea questioned Eritrea's sovereignty. Afwerki described the climate as infantile recklessness. Today, IGAD does not exist in any practical sense, he said. Eritrea saw history repeating itself, the weaponization of regional bodies to legitimize chaos. The mainstream narrative is that Eritrea is isolated because it hates the world. The counter-narrative is that Eritrea is isolated because it refuses to accept the world as it is currently ordered. Integration is an irreplaceable choice, Afwerki insists. He speaks of a vision where the Horn is united by internal strength. Until that day, the Eritrean delegation remains absent. They have calculated it is better to stand alone in the cold. Better to stand alone than to sit at a table where the menu is written by your enemies. In a region of complex deceptions, the empty chair is the only thing telling the honest truth.